I cannot enter. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need medical help yourself, Nurse?
I'm afraid I've contracted...
Not under my watch.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require medical attention?
Do you know...
Despite what you think about this place.
Well, at least your reputation...
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Good evening, sir.
We may lack the resources, but we have some of the most brilliant minds in London at Pembroke.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good...
Do you need any medical assistance?
Yes,
I have no doubt about it, but you are still ill all the same. Please, take this medicine. What is the Pembroke...
This hospital...
It's more than...
Don't be...
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
If only I were young again. Patients are not full. They know we are overwhelmed by this horrifying...
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid...
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no...
That's easy.
Goodbye, Milton.
Watch yourselves! There's one of them! Bloody leech! Filthy piece It's one of them! He's dead!
Steady, boys, we've got one of them! We will crush this beast!
It's on to us! Watch it! It's a killer! Fuck, he's fast! Get out, Hastings! He's done for! Bloody leech!
So Priwen never left Doris's theatre after they invaded. They must be holding Edgar here in their new headquarters. Doris Fletcher was about to become a disaster. I'm getting close to having all the evidence.
Sir, no civilians allowed. Stop now! You're made!
Blood of a pure heart, garlic, blood of a king. I don't understand. Perhaps this is what McCullum drank. I should find the key to that box. It's locked, all right.
A leech! Filthy piece of shit! Over there! There's one of them vermin! Over there! There's one of them! Stop! Vampire! Fear no evil! See to the Lord's work here! Keep your eyes on it!
I have it. I can now open the box.
Shall prevail.
It's locked.
Stay close. Keep an eye on each other. Stay close. Keep an eye on each other. No rest for the wicked! It's too quiet. I don't like it.
at a more convenient time.
We cannot be defeated. Have faith, brothers.
Stay close, guys. Check every door.
No.
I really don't know if I should read this. I can't believe it.
Edgar. Edgar, can you hear me?
Jonathan, is it really you?
Easy. Easy. Save your strength. I'm getting you out of here.
Don't try to spare me. As a physician, I know all too well when it's too late. Punctured lung, broken ribs, and internal bleeding. An accurate diagnosis, wouldn't you say?
Edgar, What happened?
They wanted me to confess. Beat me black and blue.
Geoffrey McCullum ambushed me at the Pembroke Hospital. He was convinced you and I were responsible for the Skal epidemic.
I never imagined that self-righteous fanatic would dare to attack us in the open. What became of him?
To prove him wrong, I let him go.
Really? Are you sure that was the wisest course of action?
Time will tell. The most intriguing part of his accusation was that you and I were the pawns of some ancient vampire.
William Marshall. Yes, they tortured me to make me confess the same nonsense.
I think you're hiding something, Edgar.
What do you mean?
William Marshall, for example. You speak of him as if you know him. How is that?
Jonathan, I cannot say I'm ready for another round of questions.
Why would the Guard of Priwen believe you and I created the vampire epidemic?
Maybe due to our profession. Because I offered you shelter in my hospital.
What can you tell me about William Marshall?
Not much. History paints the story he was the greatest knight who ever lived. Amongst the immortals, he had a yet greater legend.
Why is the Guard of Priwen so obsessed with him?
He was the only ancient vampire to escape the first great hunt launched by the Guard of Priwen in 1854. They believe he's an evil creature plotting his return.
Why would he deserve such a reputation?
I cannot say. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole has next to no intelligence on him. All I know is that he's supposed to be the oldest of all the British vampires.
While investigating the epidemic, I read some of McCullum's findings. I think you have some explaining to do.
I have nothing to hide, Jonathan. Nothing at all.
Do you know Doris Fletcher's real name?
No, I'm afraid not.
Her real name was Doris Jones. She was the daughter of Harriet Jones.
What do you want me to say, Jonathan?
Do you remember when we suspected Sean Hampton of killing Harriet Jones?
Yes. The terrible episode that came as a shock to us all.
Harriet Jones faked her own death. When I found her in the sewers, she confessed she wanted everybody to pay for what happened to her.
That woman was extremely bitter, full of hatred and festering anger.
Doris Fletcher visited her mother at the Pembroke Hospital. That's how she first got infected.
I know nothing about that. Miss Fletcher once came to visit the sick. That is all I know.
No, Edgar, there is more. Doris Fletcher was Harriet Jones's daughter. They exhibited the same symptoms: blind hate and strong physical mutation.
What does this sad story have to do with us?
Do you know where we are? Doris Fletcher's theatre. This is where that hateful creature plotted to spread the epidemic across London.
I only briefly met Miss Fletcher once when she visited the Pembroke Hospital. You say it was to see her mother. She seemed like such a sweet and graceful woman.
My point exactly. The disease turned her into a bitter soul, driven by vengeance just like her mother. A symptom of all the infected patients.
Certain diseases are known to produce similar effects. Rabies, for example. And rabies is not the devil at work.
Come on, Edgar. Don't you see the pattern here? The epidemic, the link between Doris and Harriet, the suspicion of McCullum?
How could I? I never saw Harriet Jones again after she fled the hospital.
Doris and Harriet shared more than a hidden family bond. They were the embodiment of the epidemic and are linked to the Pembroke Hospital. Come on, Edgar, this is no coincidence.
I swear I'm at a complete loss. All I did was administer vampire blood to cure old Harriet. There was no evil plan, no diabolical plot.
You did what?
I tested the regenerating and healing properties of vampire blood on Harriet Jones. My only intention was to find the cure for influenza, I swear.
Whose blood did you use? William Marshall's? Mine?
Lady Ashbury's. While transfusing her with human blood, humanely appeasing her hunger, I also kept samples of her blood for my research.
You used her blood on Harriet Jones? My God, Edgar, that's unethical. You betrayed 2 of your patients at the same time.
How dare you judge me? Must I name the alarming list of your victims?
We are both deceivers. But at least I know I'm a monster.
You have worked beside me. You saw what I'm doing at Pembroke Hospital. Jonathan, you know I'm not an evil soul. Just another victim of this tragedy.
No, Edgar, you are not going to die. Unless you want to.
What do you mean?
I can save you, Edgar. I can turn your broken body into one like mine.
You truly would? After all I've done, after all that's been said, you would offer me this gift?
I have no way of knowing which punishment would be worse, Edgar. But it is not for me to decide. So?
Oh, please, Jonathan, please. I beg you. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always searched for.
Very well, then. Prepare to die and be reborn. To face an eternity of guilt.
I'm ready. Oh, indeed, I am ready.
Enough!
return later. So Harriet Jones became the original carrier when Edgar gave her family. Vile blood. I must tell Elizabeth.
No civilians allowed. Human! Tasted it! Die, vermin! What's happening? No! Christ!
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I think I'm fine. But what happened to my
You don't have to worry about him anymore.
I am Tadao Kimura.
You're not going to die now, Mr. Kimura.
It seems that I owe you my life.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care. Are you sure you'll manage to...
Yes, I'm...
Are you sure you'll
Yes, I'm perfectly capable of defending my...
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care.
This is my territory! Gotcha! You cannot win this!
We should be far from town already. All right. But where would we go? Anywhere. Anywhere that isn't here. And what is that, by the way? A safer place? A less strange place? And where would that be? Life is strange. And we are alive. For now, yes. But for how long? If we decided to flee, we should be far from town already. All right. But where would we go?
It's locked, all right.
Hello again, Dr. Reed.
Have you any recent news of Aloysius Dawson?
I try not to listen to gossip or rumors. Unlike my brother, I am only interested in facts.
Tell me, how long have you been waiting here?
I can't say for sure, since I have no watch. But the night is still young, and I am not tired.
Is that the most honest answer you can give me?
Yes, I think so. Why does it irritate you, sir? Is comprehension really that important to you?
I'm a scientist. I try my best to understand things. I know the world has to obey unbreakable rules.
You know, or you want the world to obey such rules?
I know one thing. I do not understand who you are.
And it's better that way. What kind of life would we live if we could summarize a person in a few words or a few lines?
What are you really afraid of, Agamemnon?
The problem is, it's precisely what I don't know that frightens me. So I suppose I can't really answer your question.
If you finally manage to leave London, where do you intend to go?
A happy place, that's for sure. A place where I can smile because I know the next day will be better than the previous one.
Such a place doesn't exist. There are never any guarantees that tomorrow will be a better day.
That would mean I have no hope left, and I just can't accept such a conclusion.
May I ask why you've not gone already, if you're so exasperated by this long wait?
I believe fear is holding us back. My brother would have said it's laziness, but it's just because he's prouder than I am.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Baker. Good evening, Mr. Baker.
Why do I...
Have you any recent news?
The wall he is planning to build around the West End.
Tell me more about your strange feelings towards the city.
I would be happy to describe them, but it's too hard to...
Go on, please.
Where should I start? The world is chaos.
This is not the first time mankind...
Men kill each other, while nature decides to kill them all.
Plagues and epidemics can be seen as an implacable force.
Yes. At least nature is not aware of all the suffering.
How long have you been waiting for this man?
Sometimes I feel as though I've been waiting for him for ages. Perhaps it is my role in life to wait for him. Not a pleasant thought.
It could be dangerous for you, waiting here all night.
That's quite true. But what other choice do we have?
Mr. Baker, I have met many
Really? I don't feel particularly odd or weird. All I want to do is leave. What's wrong with that?
Why are you...
What would be the point of going before me?
Pericles, what are you going to do now?
I don't know. Perhaps it's time to leave. Perhaps we should stay a little...
And where exactly are you thinking of going?
In a place where I will finally have that feeling. To be where I belong.
Goodbye, Mr. Baker.
Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you again.
Good evening, Miss Price. How are you tonight?
Dr. Reed, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my...
Do you need my medical attention, Miss Price?
Oh yes, I feel so oppressed lately.
I'm just doing my job.
Perhaps. But I have always been grateful for your concern, you know.
What is your opinion of Aloysius Dawson?
His recovery is remarkable. As for the wall he's planning to build around the district, I don't see the harm in wanting to be safe behind a great barrier.
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price?
Have you not seen Carol since you returned?
So you're less afraid?
Some things never change.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She does not realize how cruel life can be. Maybe I was a bad...
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price. Especially in these difficult times.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reed. It would be nice to have a man here more often. We would both feel safer.
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war and the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war and the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like yourself.
Have you noticed anything in particular in this part of town recently?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at all, Dr. Reed.
May I look at your goods, Miss Price?
It's always a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Reed. Take all the time you need.
I can't help you, sir. Perhaps you should talk with someone else instead.
Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you again.
It's locked, all right. Good evening, Miss Price. I'm Dr. Reed. Do you remember me?
Dr. Reed? Yes, of course. You are the doctor who healed me and my mum. Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good to see you too, Carol. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I did not hurt myself, Reed.
Dr. Reed, I am glad.
I suspect you've heard what has happened to a lawyer.
No, what happened to him? I don't read...
Why are you awake at night, Carol?
I am helping my mother in her shop. It's not easy, but I'm a grown-up now.
I'm sure your mother is grateful for your help.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes. I drop things. I injure myself. It's a good thing my mother has the patience of an angel.
Why is work not easy? Is something or someone bothering you?
Oh no, most people are gentle with me. But I'm so nervous sometimes. I pay no attention and hurt myself. Good thing my mum learned first aid.
What can you tell me of the people living nearby?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends. With the epidemic, it's even more difficult.
Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the epidemic?
Some of our regular customers have left London. Some others only send their housemaids now. Everybody fears the contagion. I've even seen men with weapons.
Have you no friends at all?
No. Mr. Nithercote used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by anymore?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this Camellia may be.
Do you enjoy working with your mother?
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after my father died. We've always lived together, and she has always watched over me.
Do you remember your father?
No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about getting married now you're a woman?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would like a clumsy girl like me.
Goodbye, Carol.
I am sorry, I can't help you, sir. Perhaps you should talk with someone else instead.
Good evening, Miss Price.
You know...
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
Goodbye for now, Miss Price.
Dr. Reed, I am glad.
It's locked.
Dr. Reed.
Have you recent news of Aloysius Dawson?
I heard he...
Is it true you were dropped in rank? Tell me about it.
Yes, it is. I made a terrible mistake. I deserved it. Sometimes I think I should have resigned.
So why are you still working here?
Because I'm a damn fine copper. I just don't want to have someone innocent hung again by mistake because of me.
The death penalty is a great shame.
I agree. I'm convinced all civilized nations should abolish the death penalty. Maybe after the war, once that bloodshed is over, the survivors will change that.
Why do you think there shouldn't be a death penalty?
I believe no one should decide to take a man's life. Not a nation or a government.
Are you a pacifist, Inspector?
No, sir. But I believe in divine justice. Only God has the right to decide who will live and who must die.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals.
I'd like to
Then I'll write that...
What are you...
I told?
Do...
Yes.
What are you investigating?
Since you...
Tell me about...
Mr. Kimura is a businessman.
Where was he last seen?
Mr. Kimura was...
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Perhaps London will
It's locked.
survive the epidemic, but I see terrible... Good evening, Jonathan Reed. Can I help you in any way?
Have you any news concerning Aloysius Dawson?
The cards told me the old man finally got himself an extension. I hope you made the right choice, Jonathan.
How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards always tell the truth. Well, most of the time.
Is it possible to tell me my future?
A vampire's fate is much more delicate to read, Doctor. But I can try.
I would rather not know. Tell me the truth, Usher. Are you a vampire?
By the stole, you really thought you could force Usher Talltree to yield to your little mind tricks like an oblivious mortal?
Why can't I force you to answer me then?
I'm the Primate of St. Paul's Stole. It comes with certain advantages, like accessing the greatest library in the country and avoiding answering certain questions.
How do you measure the amount of blood on...
I told you.
Is it possible to tell...
Vampire's fate...
Tell me the truth.
By the still...
So,
as a brilliant
why?
I'm the...
May I ask you about...
Of course.
I know there is...
It was 18...
What was the
problem?
I found your notebook. The one the guard of Priwen stole from you.
And you brought it back to me. That's excellent news, Jonathan. Were you able to keep yourself from reading it?
No.
Ah, the oldest temptation of all. If Pandora herself did not pass the test, I suppose I should not blame you for your curiosity.
So you're not angry with me?
Why should I be? To live is to make choices, Jonathan. And you made yours. Now give it to me, please.
Can you read the cards for me?
But...
Perhaps later. Have you any news?
The cards...
Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wander. Yet it amuses me to converse with your kind. A red river, a song in the dark, the whispers of a sun.
It's
so many
locked, all right.
signs to interpret. Empress. Again. What are the cards trying to tell us? Empress, again. What are the cards? What's trying to tell us?
Shadows! Back, demon! Back!
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
Do you need my medical attention, Charlotte?
Indeed.
Oh, you cannot imagine.
My mother wants to...
What is your opinion of...
All I know is my mother...
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy.
Hello, Venus.
Hello, Jonathan. Please, come in. I remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son. They were such a beautiful family. At least you survived the Great War. I feared the worst. What do you need from me, Jonathan?
Have you any
I heard...
What do you think about Clarence squandering his fortune?
Soon we'll be poor and forced to...
Do you need my medical attention?
It would appear that old habits die hard, my dear. I would appreciate your help as always.
And I'm happy to give it to you, as always.
Thank you, Jonathan. What do you need from...
How?
I've done...
I understand.
Yes.
Have you noticed...
You mean...
Thank you.
I wish...
There's no...
No, it...
Goodbye for now.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Jonathan. You know that you are always welcome here. But at this hour...
Good evening, old chap.
I won't lie to you.
These are the documents you wanted me to look.
Oh, thank you, Johnny.
I'm not sure you can...
First, I'm going to show them to Vina.
When did you...
You know what?
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Best be on your way home. Turn around, sir.
What good fortune brings you back to me, Jonathan? What is it, my dear?
I'm afraid it's bad news, Elizabeth. The worst, actually.
Please, speak up.
Edgar is no longer in McCullum's grasp. I resolved that matter.
Where is our good friend now? Is he well?
Of a sort. His injuries were mortal. I had no choice but to make him one of us. To save him. Or to punish him.
To punish him? I fail to understand. And what is the source of this cold tone in your voice?
Edgar Swansea was responsible for the Skull epidemic, Elizabeth. It was he who unleashed the deadly scourge upon London.
What? Are you certain? This is the most terrible accusation of all.
He confessed everything to me. He sought to cure the disease, to exploit vampire blood to stop the epidemic. But he unwittingly gave birth to a catastrophe.
All those poor victims. How could he do it? What happened?
Edgar was a criminal. He abused every ethical tenet to test his theory about vampire blood as a cure for influenza.
I must say I'm shocked, Jonathan. Who would have thought it? And the poor patient. Let me guess. It was Harriet Jones, was it not?
Yes. That explains how Doris Fletcher was infected, and how she became an Icor. She secretly visited her mother at Pembroke.
Then we have no choice. We must act quickly, Jonathan. We must return to the sewers and put an end to the threat poor Harriet embodies.
I have one more matter to discuss with you. Harriet Jones was the primary case, but do you know what a healthy carrier is?
There is a tone in your voice that frightens me, Jonathan. What are you trying to say?
It was your blood Edgar used for his experiment on Harriet Jones.
What? No. No. This can't be. Oh.
Elizabeth, are you all right?
No, I have to go.
What do you mean?
Leave me alone. Save the city, Jonathan. Save what can be saved.
Elizabeth, I need answers. Why did your blood
Stay
cause
away
this?
from me. Please. I swear I never was your
Wait!
enemy.
No! Elizabeth! It's locked.
Now would be a good time to blend the recipe Marshall used when he fought the disaster. I think I know where to find what I need. Whose blood could be purer than that of William Marshall? Lord Redgrave will have to spare me a drop.
Nobody takes him seriously.
Remember, don't let any strangers come into your house.
Why can't I?
Welcome back, Dr. Reed. I'll be honest with you. I don't particularly mind that Fergal Bancher is dead, for he always made me feel uneasy.
The great Doris Fletcher led some sort of skull nest in her theatre. That's just disgusting.
Aloysius Dawson has been among us as a mortal for so long. It's difficult to believe he is now really one of us.
I heard the Guard of Priwen is about to strike us. We should go while we can.
Aloysius Dawson has been among us as a mortal for so long. It's difficult to believe he is now really one of us.
Welcome back, my immortal.
Good evening, Aloysius.
Mr. Dawson to you.
Forgive me, sir.
You're for...
How do you feel since your return?
I think I may have acquired and read every
What is this Blood Bible?
It's supposedly the only documented evidence that an immortal attended the Last Supper.
What have you discovered?
That mortals are but puppets in our hands.
What is your plan, if I may ask?
My future and the future.
Would it be insolent to ask?
I have ordered the assassination of my entire family to ensure.
When will that be achieved?
We should gain total control of Europe and the Western colony.
Are you already planning a coup?
Of course not! My only interest...
Tell me about your...
Sod off!
I beg your pardon?
You had me.
What is the...
Lord Red...
Is Lord Redgrave?
Yes. I've heard he's...
The vampire hunters are dating.
Bah! Nonsense.
I may need equipment and some...
Yes, Doctor?
I may need equipment and...
All count on you now, Dr. Reed.
I heard the Guard of Priwen has installed a new headquarters somewhere nearby.
I hope the wall of Aloysius Dawson successfully keeps the epidemic outside the West End.
I'll be honest with you. I don't particularly mind that Fergal Bancher is dead.
I heard the guard of Priwen is about to strike us. We should go while we can.
Don't you see we're trapped? What if McCullum decides to launch a full-scale attack against the club?
Good evening, Lord Redgrave.
Welcome, Lance-Bearer. To what do we owe this pleasure?
I've located the true origin of the epidemic, and I'm about to end it.
Good. We've held out thus far, but the time has come to put an end to this crisis. Tell me, what do you need?
The blood of William Marshall.
The blood of William Marshall? Of my maker? Are you mad? This blood is the purest of all. My maker proffered it to me on the battlefield. I cannot hand it to you.
This is more important than the club, you, or me. This is London's last hope.
I see. Well, in that case, given the gravity of the situation, I suppose I can spare you a drop.
Thank you, my lord.
Now go, Lance-Bearer. Craft a legend to be sung to Ascalon recruits for the ages to come.
The great Doris Fletcher led some sort of skull nest in her theatre. It's just disgusting.
Women's right to vote is only the... Seriously? Women die too in this war.
Last warning, sir! Steady! Easy does it, oh my god! Away!
I cannot use garlic, but there may be a substitute in the Pembroke Hospital drug storage.
To you!
There it is. Insulin. Much more efficient than garlic. Against blood poisoning and sepsis, and much less dangerous for me. Thank you, Dr. Polescu.
going?
Over there!
It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Look at me. Look at my face.
Ugh.